Okay, much better. Good. Correct, 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 correct. All right, much better. Hope this works better. Spending it on what? Anyways, yeah. I have to get used to YouTube Studio better, and it seems like the quality isn't even that great. Let me see. Let me double check and see what's going on my end. Oh, okay. It looks good. Okay, I got 4 illustrations to catch up, and honestly, I think I like doing it better this way in terms of like in batches, because this will be like the first Inktober that I actually can finish. I don't I don't know why it is what it is, but it is what it is. So I'll be drawing my OCs, and I have 4 to draw, but I don't know if I'll get it done within an hour. We shall see. But yeah, on art and knitting stuff, I think I haven't, only because I bought so much stuff, and I've been clearing out my I've just been trying to clean out the stuff that I have all over my house. So I'm trying real hard not to spend more, because there's quite a number of things that I bought that I just didn't use. Um, so I'll be donating them. Hopefully, someone who actually cares about it will get it for a good deal. But also, I'm being more realistic in knowing that I can't do everything. Like, I just don't have the time to do everything, even though I would love, love, love to do all sorts of things. But it is what it is, right? Okay. I am trying to get like, trying to just get like an OC for me, an original character for me to draw. And it is much easier that way. Although I should probably do the startup sketch um, for the tutorial video that I need to eventually do, but there's that. Okay, let's see. What kind of character would I like to draw today? I'm actually surprised how many like original characters I have. But I think eventually I need to actually get working on my projects. Okay. All right. I don't think I'm going to find anything in here. I mean, I could also just come up with an OC, I think. Maybe, possibly. Probably. Mm, okay. Um, okay. Okay. I don't think I'm being everywhere. Anyways, hey guys, this is what happened when you do art block, because you're like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna redraw this random OC that I have from the one video that I get so many subscribers from. So I'm probably gonna draw her up. I like her outfit, so I think I'm gonna do her and stuff. So what's up on here? Yeah, I'm trying to like sell off things that I don't have, but I'm just mentally, I'm like, I just need to not have them here. I was even going through like my closet and I've seen like old con merch or convention stuff that I had for Artist Alley way back when. And they're still pristine because I packaged them really well. But then I'm just like, this is a lot of stuff. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? But you feel so bad to just like get rid of it, you know? Let's say. you, I was never rich. I mean, I don't go to bed hungry or anything like that. Well, yeah, I don't really go to bed hungry or anything like that. But rich, no. But to other people, I would be considered rich, you know? All right, let's stop being lazy and get to drawing. Hopefully you guys are getting your whatever art projects you're thinking of doing, you get to a chance to do it. The thing about like drawing like this though, I noticed all of my mistakes and I'm tempted to use like the liquify tool. Let's get a little bit. Is it too much shadows? Probably. I mean, the sun is setting pretty late. Well, pretty early, I guess. Mm. Mm. Yeah, I mean, if you have enough to even get like to do something fun, I don't even if it is just 20, it's fine. I think um whenever I hear like other people's budgets, I'm like I don't understand, you know? And they're like, "Well, this cost this." And I'm like, "I get it, but do you have to do all of it all at one time at the same time kind of thing?" Cuz you never know when a rainy day could happen. Like, yeah, things are good now, but well, things aren't good for a lot of people, but things are good now or whatever, but you never know. Like, I, if anything, this should have taught like a lot of people that, tomorrow's not promised to you in the same way, but I know it's hard to like fight against the desire to just enjoy life because it's so stressful. It's like, yeah, tomorrow could be whatever. So might as well, it's like a YOLO thing or Carpe Diem thing versus no, let me save for rainy days. Like, where's that balance? And then the rainy days comes and then you can't even use it. You know what I mean? Let's give her a nice blousey blouse. I should probably make a video about making folds in clothes, but I'm like, it's become like almost second nature to me at this point. That look at me, I'm just like, I will say that's probably like the difficulty I have with like making tutorials, and I'm trying to make them not confusing. And it's the same kind of comment I get at work because sometimes I do train people on how to do things, and it just end up becoming like second nature to me that it's a bit hard. It's like trying to teach someone your native language when it's your native language. This is very maidsy. This is like a very maid like outfit. All right. Yeah, things like that can happen to anyone. Sorry if the camera shake. It's attached to my desk. All right. Got this. No, wait. I should mark. Which one is this one? This one is 0.5 is kind of 0.5 is kind of much, no? See, today is 16 and this is the 13th drawing. Okay. So I need 14, 15, and then 16. Ooh, this is looking janky. Yeah. Hey, welcome. Come in, come in. By the way, I'm thinking like Sundays is also like a better day for me because it's Sunday evening is just so chill. I've noticed that coming from work on Fridays have been really difficult on me. Like by that time I'm so like mentally burnt out even if I'm not like physically burnt out, I'm just so like I don't I don't want to show up here and not be on at least a decent mood, you know what I mean? I think her hair should be further back. There you go. I'm making this a little bit too perfect and too precious. I'm going to get a little closer with this because it's not looking right. There you go. There you go. I got it. All right, let's ink it up. And plus, I have so many of these tools. I know that people have commented whether to do Inktober digitally or by hand or whatever, but it's like I bought all these supplies that I don't need anymore. Give me just a second. I'm going to switch out something. Awesome. Okay. Oh, I should probably put some music on. Yes, I think I'm going to do that. Everyone's talking about the AI thing. I know I posted about it too. Okay. Ooh. All right. Now let me find my music. Like I said, I'm probably going to be here for like an hour or so. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. I mean, I know they want to like keep YouTube up to date and stuff, but it's actually really annoying to see when like the menu or whatever is keep on changing. I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking. Mm. Okay. Hopefully my internet's working good. Let me know. Okay. Uh, Yo, is YouTube crashing? I've noticed people been commenting that YouTube been having issues. Okay, I won't spoil the whole AI video, but in general, it's just like I covered what other people may have covered a little bit, but I kind of wanted to add more. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this is yeah, this is an issue. But I'm thinking more of the fact that like, besides the art theft, I'm just so kind of like, how should I describe it? Like, you know how it's difficult anyways to get known on social media, right? Like it's so saturated, and now you just throw in like AI art and it adds to it. You know what I mean? Okay, where is that music? Trying to get me some royalty free music. I know YouTube is changing that whole royalty free thing, but I don't want to chance it just yet. And even then, if you go like royalty free music, sometimes it'll they could they could change their mind, you know. Where is it? Just be patient with me. I'll get there. I know you're here. There you go. Okay. Now I remember what was the name of the channel. Okay. Videos. And then playlists. Okay. And then shuffle playlist. Shuffle playlist. Shuffle playlist. Shuffles on. And go to the next video. And okay, let's switch to the next person. Okay. I hope this works. Yeah. The oversaturation is what I'm actually concerned about the most because we artists already having difficulty like okay, hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah, artists already have difficulty as it is for us to like get our names out there, and now you're having like AI added to the mix is just it's like putting salt on a wound or something, you know? It's just I can see like us having some serious issues. Ooh, this is a dry pen. I mean, which is good. I'm glad that I'm finding out all of my dry pens. Okay. This poor pen is dry. There you go. There you go. And the thing is, like, I'm fixing it as I go, which is never a good sign. I made her eyes a bit more soldier than I, like, girl comic style than I thought I was going to. Oh well. She's fully girly. I will say, kind of like when you do these, like, challenges or whatever, it makes it, you start to realize, like, oh, this is fun. And oh, I'm good at this, and then you're like, oh, I'm really bad at this at this part. But either way, it gives like a bit of refresher, I think, if you're not putting too much pressure on it. Actually, I've already started using AI art um in my workflow for like my job, because if like the request is like a lot of generic stuff, like I don't know, like for example, you'll take Instagram, right? And let's say you want a pretty woman with jewelry in her hair because it's kind of popular, and then you tell it to be in like watercolor style. um it will give you that, right? Because it's such a specific generic thing. But if you want something like really unique, then like AI is not going to do it for you as of yet. And even then you have to think about the idea. It's not like you can tell AI to come up with, it's not going to sit there and just come up with something for you. And I think that was what people was worried about, was the fact that, oh, it's going to come and take our jobs. And it's like the same way, like, you know, cameras, like our cell phone is not going to, it didn't replace the photographer, right? Like people aren't getting like their cousin, like there are those who can't afford it, you know, and if they can't afford it, they still can't afford it. You know what I mean? Like they're not getting their little cousin to like take their wedding photos. And then if anything, as an artist, I don't know if any of you guys have like dealt with taking commissions or seeing commission prices. All it'll do is just like take out all of those like clients or like those Fiverr type clients who want something just microwave for them, just like pop and it's done kind of thing on the cheap. Like it'll just end up taking away those kind of clients that you wouldn't want anyways. Like they'll get out of your hair, you know, much more quickly. And anytime they'll be like, can you do this for like $10? You'd be like, well, why don't you pay $10 for like 15 credits on Dolly or whatever? And I think that will do what you're looking for, you know. And it's not going to be an insult. It's just, you know, if you know exactly what you want and you don't mind what style it is in, then just, yeah, use the program. It's when you want something like super unique or super specific, then you run into that issue. Like it's not going to, it's not going to finish the artwork for you, you know? So unless you know how to do the technique, it's just not like I tried and I guess I should have brought like some of the stuff that I did on using AI art. Maybe, actually I think I can. Let me see if it'll look good. Let me show you some things. Dolly. I think it's that's the name. Dolly. 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 Yeah, see, I'm like looking at the stuff they have in their gallery and things, and let me see if I could continue. I'm just signing into my doll E account. Let's see my collection. Okay. Like it comes up with really cool stuff. For example, I'm sorry if it's end up being like really weird looking. Okay. All right. Let's see if I get this right. So I needed like a plaid, and it looks cool. It's not what I need though, and I've made several versions of them that like, see what I said was colorful, splatter, warp, checkered. It's there. It's not what I was looking for. Um, Sketch and splatter, texture, warp, checker pattern, close, but not what I was looking for. And I don't think I have it in here. Oh yes, okay. So what was it? What was this one? This one is for like uh, a comic that eventually I want to do, and it's like futuristic city made of curved glass and mirror above sunrise horizon, high detailed solar Solar Utopia Lights, Daytime Pastel, Sky Bright Cinematic Overview, Metropolis and Watercolor Ink Sketch Style. The colors is pretty. It definitely got the watercolor finish, but like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't, I can't personally use it. And then when I said like futuristic city made of a glass, it gave me like it's a mix between Tron and I think like Final Fantasy 7, I believe. Like, this is what it looks like. So, there's quite a limitation that unless you give it something generic, it gives you a whole lot of mess. Or like, let's see if I could do this. Like, I can come up with a better composition than this. Bird's eye view, futuristic dystopian technology, group of 3 people, sketch style in streetwear. It literally gave me somewhat of a semblance of 3 people in a blob. And then there is no dystopian technology. There's just like lines. And it's in blue because blue means tech. Like, that's the limitation really of like, that's the limitation. You know what I mean? Like, it's not what people think it's gonna be. And even if you look up like Mid Journey, which is the other one, it's very like, if you ever been on ArtStation, which is like the more video game and movie style deviant art type things. If you ever been on ArtStation, basically Mid Journey gives you like the most generic amalgamation, like grouping of what you would expect ArtStation artist style, which comes to the problem of ripping styles. But then again, it's like when you have to work for these companies, you actually have to work within the style that they kind of set over time. So it's several artists working in that style. And if you put in like gorgeous woman in a bikini fantasy armor, how many times you've seen that? And of course, it's going to give you that. But if you actually start to give it something different, like, I don't know, a gorgeous, I don't know, well-aged, middle-aged man who's wearing a lace-inspired 1960s, I don't know, suit vest. I highly doubt that it'll actually come up with something cool that would make sense. And now that I think about it, that description actually matches a whole nother story of mine where it's like James Bond meets steampunk aesthetics, but it's actually in the future. And a little bit of like Mecha Gundam. So it can't give you that because that's such a unique thing that since there's nothing for AI to copy from, it can't actually come up with it together, which I don't, to me, that doesn't look like it. It doesn't feel like AI to me, you know? Yeah. Yeah. It's very much out of its range. And then both of the two, like Doll E and Mid Journey, they have also like a style. If you want something for a cool like fantasy book cover, yes. But anything other than that, and it ain't gonna work. So I know people are scared about it because then I saw some people who were like using it for logo design also. And the thing is, it doesn't recognize language, I don't think. So it'll use like word-ish things that look like a cross between like English, German, and Russian. Like, it's just blobs of words. And you still need someone there to like actually type in the word that you need. And then on top of that, it only gives you flat files. Like, I haven't seen any of them that give you like layered files. And if you're working for a company, they need the layered file. Like, even you guys, like, if you've worked on digital work, let's say you're making comics or whatever, you need your stuff on layers for edits for later on in the future. So like, there's so much of it that's so limiting that when people were freaking out about it, I was like looking at it, I'm like, awesome. Like, we're getting closer to a point where I don't have to sit there and draw things over and over again, only for me to be disappointed. I'm like, oh, I still have to draw a lot more. Not that I hate drawing, it's just it starts to get tedious once you get the idea down. And let's say you just want the same exact character that you've already designed. The fun part is designing. The non-fun part is like having them in like multiple angles while they're doing like a talking dialogue. It's not even like an action scene, you know? That's what I'm hoping, but it doesn't it doesn't do that. And then if you want, let's say, the same exact artwork but different, let's say you want to make like version A, B, and C, you know, or like the same exact looking character but in a different dress, it won't do that. Like you can't create an OC and then have it reuse that same person over and over and over again, you know? I'm sure maybe, I don't know. That would be one hell of a project though. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. She's supposed to have like a frou-frou right here. So we're gonna make it black even though it was originally white. Those mistakes happen, you know? Oh. Yeah, iterations, it doesn't make them. So. The last of my wine. A very cheap bottle of wine. You know which one those are. So we're just gonna make this into a black one because I made a mistake. But that's Inktober for you, right? Oh, it's like a dry brush. I kind of like this dry brush. See, this is the thing too. I haven't used my pens in like forever. I don't think, yeah. Even wetting it with water. So this is trash. Nothing like going through Inktober and doing an inventory of your stuff. But let's just tell you how much of this I bought and just didn't use it. I'm honestly going to become like an artist, a minimal artist. I'm just like throwing away stuff. How often do I do Inktober? I've tried every year. This will be the first year that I actually see myself finishing it. Did I? No, lie. This is my second one finishing. The first one that I did that finished was maybe way back in like 2016, 17. I think, where was it? I have others. Okay. So I have a lot of the originals from like, and I did like a Kickstarter and I did like, there you go. And I sold a few of them, but it was like a ink wash type thing. And then I collected them as a book and stuff like that. So this is probably my second time finishing Inktober, but less like work. And you can see that I'm pretty consistent. I like sci-fi elements. I know everybody's into like fantasy right now. Well, for a while, people are into fantasy and I've been reading so many webtoons, but I'm starting to really get over like too much, you know, back in the years yonder, whatever, this mystical item and so was the legend of this, that, and the other. And, you know, magic power systems, and that's how the king and queen became to be and all that stuff. I'm just kind of like past that, you know. But it's not like sci-fi doesn't has its tropes. It's like food. I compare it to everything with food. You know, yes, I love Chinese, but sometimes I want Indian. Sometimes I want Mexican. You know what I mean? Granted, Chinese has a lot of variation, so maybe that may not be the best example. But imagine that the only kind of Chinese out there was like the very simple Chinese takeout with the same 10 items over and over again. And that's how I feel with a lot of fantasy, because it's not even like people doing like fantasy unique to their own. So I'm taking too long on this one illustration. But I'm just adding shading, just making it simple. Oh, this one's good. Can always count on Faber-Castells. What I'm doing is adding in like a good bit of spot blacks, so that way there's like some kind of shading. But I'm not gonna do like too much, you know? And then just shade up some folds. And stuff like that. So, but honestly, I've been feeling like I want to work on this webtoon of my own, and I've decided on it, on which one I'm gonna do. And it's just sometimes you feel guilty because it's like webtoons don't make money, and I'm not gonna go into making a webtoon hoping to make money off of it, because I feel like it end up spoiling the story in some kind of way. Not This is not a critique on anybody else. I'm just saying, like, in terms of an artist yourself, like, because then you feel guilty. Honestly, you guys should know this. Like, you know, when you post something and you know that, oh, this is a type of thing that's popular, so it's gonna do well. But if it's something that you just want to do because you really like it, you just want to do it, and you know it's not going to do as well. It doesn't mean it doesn't have some supporters, right? Because you like it, and as much as it a lot of people want to feel special, we're not that unique from each other to that extent. You know, like it's not like there's nobody out there who like the same stuff that you like. It's just there's not enough of us, you know. So you know that it's not gonna do as well. And sometimes if it doesn't do well enough, it just doesn't pay the bills. And that's what I mean by not going into it expecting to pay the bills. Because it might have some romance, but it's definitely not in romance. And pretty much both web comics and in literature, people want romance, and it's not gonna have that much of it. Like it'll have it, but not really. Like you're free to ship any of my characters however you feel. But if it's for me personally, it's like, you know, it is what it is. So I want to, but I really am just getting the scratching bit. It's almost feeling like an allergic reaction to get myself to like draw um a web comic. It takes a while to warm up to a live stream, doesn't it? What are you guys doing while you're listening to me ramble? Are you drawing? Are you cleaning? I like to listen to stuff while I'm cleaning, because I hate cleaning so much. I like things to be clean. I hate cleaning so much. I tell you right now, if I was born with money, I would have been just as bad as most of the rich people in the world. Like, maybe not as horrible as a lot of them be, because I don't even understand the point of being cruel. But I could definitely be like tactless, if that's the word, and just be like, where's my maid servants? Where's my man servants? Where are they? Like, I don't want to do this. Can someone come here and like fix this, please? Like, yeah, like what is this? What is this mess? I don't care if you're having a bad day. I'm not like that. Well, I'm not like that now because I am the average person, but if I wasn't average, like, can you really say that you would be a nice person? I don't know. There's some things where I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't see myself doing that unless I was seriously backed into a corner, you know? And one of the things is that I see people do is like making people feel humiliated just to make them feel humiliated, like to, public humiliation or whatever, like something really, like to me, that's a waste of energy. Cause I already see that in myself. Like when someone has done something that I don't agree with or has done something seriously wrong, unless it's actively hurting someone, like the situation hasn't passed by or whatever, and it's just something I'm like, okay, that wasn't good. I'll just like, okay, whatever, and then continue on with my life. Like I just leave it be, simply because I don't believe in wasting energy like that. But other than that, if I had the monies, I would be one lazy little bubble of a girl. I'd be so lazy. I'd be living that soft life. You can look up what soft life is. It's up to you. I mean, it depends on how you feel when you see people wasting money. Mm. You're knitting. Same. Working on catching up Inktober and stuff. I've been thinking like I need to pick up like basic sewing. Only because it goes back to things not working out. Like I don't know if you guys have seen some of the runways from the fashion houses lately, or like the stuff that they've been putting out on even like basic stuff like Target and Walmart, whatever. But I'm not going to be saying that, oh, they look ugly, because people like what people like, right? Or seeing those people with those clothes hauls, and you're just like, that would not be me though. Okay, I'm going to unknown territory right here, because let me see if I can find me something to. I have so much stuff. Oh, that might be a bit too complicated. Okay. But yeah, like I'm just gonna learn to sew because I want to get some like really nice basic stuff, you know. Good luck to you with the webcomic, because like I said, like I've been getting the itch to do the webcomic so much. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this one. These are just like simple girl sketches. I think I like her and her. So I'm gonna redo hers. Those two. I redid this one. Okay. So I got those two. And I should eventually like do one about guys, because I don't draw male characters all that much at all, you guys. I'm going through my sketchbook. I'm just mining my sketchbook right now. No. I really should draw more male characters. Ooh, okay. I think I might draw her and her. Okay. So that's 3 people. That's 3 girls. So we're gonna do that. After I've complained about me not drawing girls. It's 3 girls. Okay. All right. Oh, I did the head too small. I won't have space to actually draw the features. Let's see if I can get her to look good. Huh. This girl here is a character from the webcomic that I ultimately decided not to do, even though I started doing it, and it was mostly because I I don't feel confident in drawing monsters. which I guess that's what you could use AI for, right? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Maybe I'll just do that. I'll use AI for that. Let's see. How how do I want to do her body here? There you go. Yeah, this is how her body will look like. Learning how to come up with new monsters. But I know what I'm going to do for my next webcomic. So hopefully, you guys, if you have time throughout the day, you'll get a chance to read it. Um, it probably, I don't know, if I'm a good person, not a good person, but if I'm a good artist, I'll wait and be patient and have, you know, have the stories drawn before I start uploading them and have like a buffer, like they say. But actually, yeah. Should it be like this? No, I don't like it. It makes her hair looks weird. There you go. There you go. That's what I should do. Um, and of course it'd be digital. Alright, if I can get this to look right. Ooh. There you go. I have very like old school shoujo style of drawing for real. But I honestly, it's probably because I don't like other than web comics, I don't really like look up new animes and new mangas and stuff like that. And that was a question my brother had asked me like maybe a few weeks back. He's like, "Have you watched anything good lately?" And I'm like, "I don't even think I watched that much. I pretty much only watch YouTube." I don't know why. It's just anything that's been announced, I watch YouTube. Even the most latest. Wait, I'm jumping from one topic to another. Yeah, well, that's what live streams are for. Even with the most latest things, like um, I was looking at them and I'm just kind of like, eh. You know what I mean? It's like, eh. So I ended up being stuck with like old school stuff. That might be a bit thick. Thick. Yeah, it's just something, you know, that weird fear when you feel your story is much greater than like your art capabilities. So then you're like, maybe I should like hold off till I draw better. But speaking as someone who's been holding off for like years, there's no point. Just draw the story. You could always redraw it, you know, but like think of yourself as like the artist of like the original artist of like One Punch Man or something. Like that original art was what it is. And he did the story anyways. And then eventually someone a lot better than him redid the story, you know? Or like look at the artist of Inuyasha. Like you can't really tell me like it's like legendary status style artwork. It's not like that. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. But she did a compelling story, and I'm trying to think that way to get myself to like actually working on the story at this point, you know, or else nothing will ever get done. And then another year goes by because it's almost the end of October. Mm. Yeah, keep the fashion illustrations pretty because wasn't that, yeah, I believe that was um Sailor Moon, right? Naoko Takauchi. Wow, I haven't said that name in like ages, but it's basically like that, right? So if she can do it, you guys can do it. I can do it. I have to remind myself that. I'm like, I'm giving everybody else like advice, but then I don't take it, you know? Isn't that how people be doing it? Right. Honestly, speaking of someone who hasn't really done stories, I've accepted that like writing is not my strong suit either. But I think part of it, and I'm just gonna put the blame on someone else because I feel like it, okay? I think part of it is just simply because the story that I want to read is not a story that people typically write. That's all I'm gonna blame it on that, okay? I'm not gonna blame it on the fact that my English is not good enough because even though it's my first language, that's a whole nother topic. But because I took that like writing a story AI, right? AI is everywhere, guys. AI is everywhere, and about the only place that it's gonna take over is probably pop music. And I'm not even talking about like Miku or whatever. Like, if you guys have seen like what was it? The game. There was like a game looking characters. Exit, I don't know, some other group that doesn't actually have a human representation. And then you have groups like ESPA and stuff like that. Like that pop music group, that stuff is what's gonna be taken like AI. But I had tried one of those like story writers and it would critique your stories. Now, let me kid you not. It says that my grammar is off and it is. I have a problem with past tense, future tense, like tenses. I'll go from future to past. Like people always comment on that. But at the same time, it tells me like to write a YA novel. My writing and reading level was too high. I think YA needs to be anywhere from like 4th to 8th grade or something. These are US grades, so it's like elementary or very young kids. Like I don't know what. How old are you when you're in 4th grade? If in ninth grade I was 12, so under the age of 12, basically. And it said that my writing level was too high. And I'm like, how is it that I barely made C's in all of my English classes, and yet my writing level is too high for a young adult novel? You know what I mean? Like, I thought these people are supposed to be teenagers reading this stuff. And um, yeah, and I tried reading some of them, and I don't think I didn't have a problem with the reading level. I didn't notice that. I think it just ended up focusing on things that I just don't care about, and I never cared about them when I was of that age. So you can't even say that, oh, it's because I'm too old and I'm out of touch. But it's like people who are writing a lot of these YA novels are older than me, you know? I just think I was never into that. It's kind of like the difference between like someone who's a Star Trek fan and the difference between someone who would pick like Discovery or I think it's Voyager over DS9 because they focus on two different things, or like the newer Star Trek, like they focus on two different things. I why do I sound so pretentious? A lot of people in like pop media tend to go for that more discovery, let's have some fun and let's have a lot of random fights just to be cool and have fun and, have a lot of laughs and stuff. And that's good. But I was more on the other camp. Like I was more on this other camp that tends to be a little bit more on the whole, if you're actually in a hard situation, this is how people would actually act. Like a bit more realistic. It's like what other thing is popular? It's like when people be like, oh, I don't know, people like Korean dramas and the romance dramas. Right now, the romance dramas have changed quite a bit in terms of what they focus on. They used to be like very focused on like white knight type of characters, but they've changed it now again, um, a bit more. I don't even watch dramas, so how would I know if it makes any sense? Am I making sense? Probably not. What is this music? I mean, I don't mind this song, but let's change it up. Yeah. Yeah. So there it is. I'm not taking responsibility. I'm going to blame it on something else. I'm going to just blame it on the fact I'm not used to finding stories that I like. But if you think you can find me a decent, like, just a what if, I'm not sure if it's like what kind of category I would like. Do I like survivalists? I don't know. Cause my taste does range a bit. Like for example, I haven't read all of it, but like maybe someone might take like an anime like Banner of the Stars and think it's really boring. But I'm like, it's pretty, so I'm gonna watch it. you know? Other people might take like what else? But then you go from Banner of the Stars to like The Drops of God, which is a seinen manga. Yo, actually I should probably double check if there's any good like seinen mangas out there. Um I used to read Goku Dofudo, which I think is like an ex yakuza trying to be a good stay at home dad or whatever. And there's like cute stuff like that, but then after a while, I'm like, all right, I got it. Is there anything going on in here? No, okay. It's one of those you read them one chapter at a time, and you just enjoy the chapter. All right, I'm done with this one, so let's get to adding the. I didn't speed up. The camera didn't speed up. I'm just speeding up, guys, because I'm good like that. I assure you, it's not the wine talking. I'm just Sundays. I'm just a more chill person. You know. And then like stuff like old stuff like Macross Frontier and stuff like that. I don't know. I've just been like on this weird memory lane. I know they're gonna be remaking Urusei Yatsura, right? With Lum. I don't know how they're gonna update that to today's values though. Like Lum is cute and all, but when you really think about how the characters behave, It's definitely of its time. So I don't know what they're gonna do with it. Because sometimes it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but sometimes you're like, hey, yeah, that was of its time. But like if you think of like Ranma half and stuff like that, like you're just like, like how much can you give something of history a pass? You know? Okay. Because this was originally dark and this roundness is not round enough. Okay. Ooh, that arm. We're gonna just. So normally people would be like, you know what? This arm doesn't look right. There you go. Let me tell you, I don't know how to do perspective. And we're gonna fix this differently. I know. The original one. The original one, the first one, the one that they spliced up and put together to learn and fill in those gaps. Well, I forgot who Miley Cyrus was. Oh, Mark Criley was quoting, but he said the best writing is the best rewriting, probably. Which he's not as active, but I know he recently posted his yes, guys, I'm filling this black in because I made a mistake. It is what it is. Nanda mo na yun. I don't know. Maybe I'm just at that point in my life. Like I'm like, I want to learn at least like basic Japanese conversationally because like you've been in this for so long that you just kind of like, why haven't I learned it? It's weird. It would be like if you were so much into fashion, like European fashion, and then you never picked up any of the European languages, not proficiently, just enough to be like, if you were dropped in the middle of the country, like you can get yourself from point A to point B, you know? That's what I mean. Because it's not like I'm going to go there and live there for the rest of my life. So there's no reason, personally, anyways. I don't think there's a reason to like be extra fluent in a language in a country you're not going to stay in. But, maybe some basics. Maybe some like, I don't know, second, third, fourth grade basic. I don't know. This is what you do when you need to cover up mistakes. How do you do this? This circle is the wobbliest circle ever. But this is what we're going to do. At least I gave her a background, right? Don't complain if I gave her a background, right? You can't complain for that, right? Can you? Mm. I spent longer on this. Live streams definitely make me slow down in my drawing for some reason. I think it's because I'm trying to like multitask. So, in case you ever wondered why you're slowing down in your drawing, could be because you're multitasking. And I don't know how much you can pick up, like the stroke, like the sound of me on the artboard, or whatever. The sun has officially set. I have some other video topics, like just art and chat topics, which I find very comforting to do. Just like I'm going to do art and then we're going to talk about something. One of them dealing with like art programs in general, mainly focusing on like Clip Studio. But I think that's it, right? Yeah. you know, like Clip Studio or whatever. But just in general, like other ones too. Okay. What other topics did I had? I don't know. It's just there's been so much chitter chatter in the art community lately, and I don't want to dwell too much on some of the more negative ones, like tracers and correctors and all that stuff, because I know that's a big thing. I'm just kind of like, I'm sorry, my life is already difficult as it is. Unless I'm gonna do something, I'm not gonna. This is not what I'm gonna. I'm just gonna block all of that stuff. Not block the people, but just like block all that negativity, simply because at this point there gets to a point where I really am starting to be skeptical with all this talk about negativity. I'm really am starting to be like, there's genuine issues, but I'm starting to think that there's a lot more people trolling to be the bad person just for them to get clicks. Cause I don't know what it is, but lately, it's just been kind of like, I get it if you really need clicks, but I don't know. It's just it's making it very tiring to like navigate through the internet. You know? I know, like, and now learning a language is pretty much a survival thing. Like you can't get by in the world just knowing English. I don't think it's a good idea. It doesn't really matter so long as it's a language that you feel would work for you and your focus. Just I'm trying to do this whole like learn like 100 to 300 words just so you understand, because drink water, people. Always drink water, okay? Stay hydrated. But like only because there's just so much going on and there's so much interconnectivity now that not knowing like 100 to like 300 words of different languages is just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. Like I'm starting to feel the world, like I could feel the walls around me coming. That sounds so morbid. I just feel that I'm enclosed more just knowing one language, you know? And especially because it happens to be the language that everybody else for the most part knows. I know some people are like, I speak English so I can get away with it, but I'm thinking that it limits you so bad. Like I can feel the limitations. Mm. Yeah, I could see that being good for brain health. It's kind of like when people do like those like math type games like Sudoku or whatever. Um, that it's just it really is like, and then it's so interesting because there was, see, this is what I mean, like the things that I like sometimes make money, a lot of times it doesn't. So there was a movie, I want to say about 10 years ago, called it was a sci-fi movie called The Arrival, and it was, I think in the beginning you look like what looked like octopus type or squid type aliens, and they would squirt ink onto like a foggy window surface, and that the people, the us humans, had to interpret what they were saying. But the way the trailer set it up is like all of a sudden the arrival of these like floating ships that they don't know how it's floating, and it's landed on several countries and we don't know how to deal with it. But what was really interesting, I mean, there was a lot of other interesting, really cool stuff, and I really liked the first half of the movie. But the first half of the movie, for those who aren't used to watching like sci-fi, feels really boring. And I had a friend next to me just like squirming in the chair, just like, is something gonna happen? Meanwhile, I'm getting everything that's happening because there's so much nuances. Like I'll see a bird and I'm like, oh, that's literally a canary in the coal mine. But you don't, like if you don't notice, you don't notice. But the point of the movie was the concept of how language helps form how you see the world and like how your brain is formed and stuff like that. And that when you start to learn another person's language, especially the more different the culture is that developed that language, the more you start to see things. It's kind of like when I heard, like, I think, I'm not sure if it was the Middle East or whatever, their concept of time is different to our concept of time. And things like that, like the way they set things up, or like how there's not words for like an words that represents an individual person versus a group culture, like things like that. Like you really start to be like, it's almost like you just see new colors that you didn't see before, if I'm making sense. I know this got like really like geeky boring, but it is what it is. I like stuff like that, right? And of course, the movie does eventually has to give you a hope for the future. And it talks about how love is like the language that crosses all barriers. And if anyone has ever been in a long distance relationship or been in a multicultural relationship, love does not cover everything, okay? Like I understand that we want to make like love is like such a magical thing, but I think we've put love in such a pedestal that at this point that a lot of people don't realize that it actually requires responsibility and work. Actually, let's give her hands. I haven't drawn any hands, have I? She's a runner. I don't know why, but I suddenly made her a runner. Huh. Yeah, you really do. Like, you really forced to start to see things like really differently. Like, oh, there isn't a word for this. Or, like, you know how you can tell when someone has traveled to someplace else and they start using like way of saying things, even though they translate it to the local language. Like, I can really, okay. In fact, let me say, case in point, I I'm a casual-ish fan. I guess I don't know. It depends on how you define casual, but I am a casual fan of BTS, right? And the main guy, the main leader, RM Namjoon, whatever, yeah, his name. He speaks English, right? But there's times that he uses a phrase that clearly denotes that he's using English from a different perspective. And if you've been around like a European person or even like someone from the UK, right? Or other places like Australia that English is their first language, but they're coming at it at a different cultural point. That even if you took out slang, like you just take out slang and they're just using regular default words, but how they express themselves. It's like phrases, like two for one is mostly an American phrase, or the grass is always greener on the other side is a very American phrase. Yes, it's English, but it's a different, like it's a different way of saying things. So sometimes I can hear when, oh, this person, yeah, English, they're coming to English from a very non-American perspective. Um, I also had this happen one time where my mother didn't catch it, even though she's a Haitian native. But as a Haitian who learned a language as a second language, I can tell when someone, even though they speak it very well, like fluently, like I can speak it as fast as you hear me speaking English, but I can tell that I'm using phrases differently. I heard it one time. Ugh. Anyways, I heard this woman speaking on one of like the podcasts, and the way she was talking, I was like, the Creole is not her first language. And then my mom's like, what are you talking about? She has no accent. She's flawless. Da, da, da. I'm like, yes, but her word choice is different than any other Haitian that is their first language. Like that's their language. Even if you consider different regions, there's the way she's talking. It sounds like an American talking. Not even like someone who's not Haitian, but like that was American phrases that's translated into Haitian Creole words. And she halfway through she's like, "You have to excuse me. Creole's not my first language." And then my mom looked at me like, "How'd you know?" It's like there's something that comes with language that's a lot more than just you using words. You know what I mean? It's the word choice, it's the phrases, it's the timing, it's your pauses, it's all of that stuff, you know? And I think a lot of people just take for granted, not take for granted, that sounds negative, but you just, it's like you just breathing air, right? It just doesn't occur to you that, you know, you fall asleep or breathing air until you have difficulty. It's second nature. It's first nature. It's first nature. You know what I mean? If that made sense. If I made sense, did I make sense? Forgive me for not making sense. Ah, well, this went on a little longer than I thought, so I have one more to do, right? All right. I think her head is a little bit too big here, so let's edit that out. The only reason why I'm using colored pencils is you can use like certain lighter colors and the printer won't get it as easy, won't pick it up as much. But I just wanted to. All right. Even the way I draw hairs is like really it's really different. Even like drawing hair tutorials have been a thing, but it's like I just come at it in such a manner that it may not even be like popular or trendy anymore anyways. Even though like the 70s stuff, like 70 retro stuff is coming back now, which I'm glad in a way. I'm more of an 80s person, but I'm glad we're getting that retro vibe thing. Mm. Ooh. This might be a little bit too thick. But I think Sunday streams probably will be like the best one. Let me know if it's something that you guys agree to, or I mean, if you're catching it on the replay and you watch this for, thank you. But I'm probably going to keep it as a sketchbook session. I don't know. I find it more chill. My eyes lately has been not too happy. I tell you, when you hit your 30s, you're going to feel it. Like, you're like, people live to 100 years old. Yeah, but it is what it is. You're going to feel it. See if I can get this done. Okay. Yep, this worked out just fine. This really got me looking like it's an 80s thing. All right. Ooh, yeah. Arabic, yeah. Arabic is another one of those languages that is very different from the English language. So it's not just like, oh, I'm learning vocab, but like you really need to, or like I don't know what language does it, but the language is actually simple in vocab, but how you remix the vocab is tell you what you're talking about. So if you're missing like one or two puzzles out of it, you're just telling someone completely different. Or like there's like three or four words that sound exactly the same but means differently. Kind of like how in English it's they, their, they are, theirs, that kind of thing. Or over there. Then people look at me funny when I say theirs or theirs versus they are, or they are. Like I purposely make it an accent on some reason, and people have like, oh, that's interesting, and it's literally just so I can make a difference, and I didn't know that my brain was compensating for that until um maybe a few years down the line that people made a comment thinking that it was an accent, and it's not an accent. It's me compensating for the fact that English language is funny like that. Yeah. And sometimes they don't even have like end parts or whatever. And now they're just starting to be like putting words together. Like these short like contracting words together. Especially like the titles for some of these like light novels. It's like we can do without you guys doing that. I like the orange on black. But it also kind of like frees your mind. Like it really occurs to you, like you really start to look at things in all sorts of ways. Like, oh, that would be interesting. It's funny that you say it that way. But then you'll find yourself like laughing to yourself because you heard something one way, but you're just like thinking of all the ways that it could sound like to someone else. I'm just being crazy though. I tell you, I suffered in English. Like I had this thing where my and it's my first language, okay? But I've had people question if it's my first language, and then I've had teachers where like clearly I'm a well-read person because I use a lot of vocabulary, like different vocabulary, but I'm just like it's just vocab. It's like collecting Pokemon. The more you read, the more you collect them, you know? It's not to me, I don't see it as something highfalutin just because I know vocabulary, you know? It's just whatever. It's like collecting stickers. It's nothing, right? But I've had also people like I guess they felt bad because they like you know when you're dealing with elitist people and they look down on you because oh you don't sound educated or whatever. But to me, not sounding educated just really means that you're not even it's more of an empathy thing. You're not even considering that there might be different ways to seeing things. That's the only time that I'm like, okay, that's kind of mean of you. You know, the fact that you just would not even give it space that maybe people see things differently. That's about it. Um, but after that, just because you don't have a high vocabulary doesn't mean you don't process things in a very interesting way. So to me, it's just like it's just words, you know. But I've had people be like, people must think you're smart because you use a lot of big words, and I'm just like, it's just words, you know. So don't feel, I don't know. Listen, if anyone try to make you feel like you're not smart because you're not using big words, they have a problem. It's like being a cook. It's like, no, it's like being a person who has a very large kitchen with all the spices in the world, like a lot. Like the most bougie, the most rare, the most whatever. But then you can't cook. Okay. I mean, cool. You know, so that's what words are to me. Like, okay, you got a lot of words, but you don't know how to cook with them. You know, and then you have people with some simple ingredients, you know, some salt, some pepper, maybe some butter, maybe some oil, maybe a little garlic, but they know what to do with what little they have, and then they make something delicious, you know. It's like eating really good street food or something versus like what is it? There was two things that was really on vogue. Now I'm just being pretentious with that word, on vogue. Was bacon and everything and truffle and everything. And I kid you not, for the most part, I've never tasted anything that's like, you know, like ooh la la, like oh my god, truffles, you know. That doesn't mean I never did. It just was like it was clear that the people was hoping that if they throw like expensive ingredients, like it's gonna taste good. So that's how I feel like with words. I just find words to be funny, you know. Let's add a little bit shade into her hair. It's like when I get started on these streams, then I'm like, yes, I'm going to draw, 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 draw. And I never really know what is there for me to draw, like to talk about, but for some reason, I end up finding stuff to talk about. Okay. There you go. There you go. Want to make sure that we know that she's holding on to something, and then that'll be it for this one. There you go. Yeah. Let's make this all dark here so you know it's shading. There you go. Good. Right. On to the last one. Honestly, I just find it kind of cute when you just hear all sorts of way of accenting. It's like there was this guy that I worked with in New York, in Korea. He's from Korea, I believe. And his English was perfectly fine. It just, I think the Korean language has a lot of rolling of the R's. So he just naturally rolled the R's in English words. And I was like, oh, and caught myself just like repeating after him because I just thought it was interesting. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, no, don't get rid of it. Okay. It just adds color to the world. Like, enjoy it. People say I have accents also. And because my family is from Haiti or whatever, and I never heard of it, but I did have one time when I think I did a public reading, and someone had mentioned that, why do you have like an English accent? And I've never been to England. I don't have English friends. It's not like I avoid the people. I avoid you guys. It's just I happen to not like. It's not something I'm going out of my way like to find them, right? And it's just, I think maybe at that time I was watching so much English, either YouTube content or actors who are in America but they're from England, that since I was doing my presentation, I just naturally started having like a more, or maybe I'm just born posh. I don't know. I'm born pretentious. There you go. But I mean, if you're having me read something, it is what it is. You just kind of like, she ended up being kind of boyish. I should go back and learn like my anatomy a little bit better. But it is what it is. C'est la vie. This one's a little bit difficult. This is the reason why I don't do like drawing tutorials. Like I'll do art technique tutorials, but I'm not doing no drawing tutorials because I don't actually draw that well. Like I draw okay, but not enough to be like, and this is how you draw eyes, and this is how you draw a face, and no. Like I'll bring this in Photoshop and I will notice my all my anatomy things, and then people will post randomly like, yo, that face. And I'd be like, yes, that face. The question is it ugly though? It may be fugly, but it's definitely not ugly. So her ears is up here, right? Her nose is down there. Let's give her a bit more. Don't ask me why I gave her like mad scientist vibes. Don't ask me why. I just did. That's all. I don't know. I feel like code switching is a bit more intentional. Like, whereas you're picking, you didn't change the way you talk, you're just changing the accent, but you're not changing your vocabulary. Like, um, so I'm down here in Florida, and I mostly live in suburbish areas, or I live around other like immigrants that does not necessarily speak English. So I don't pick up the words like my cousins do in New York and New Jersey. Like, I pick it up more now because I'm on the internet. I mean, I was always on the internet, but you know what I mean. Like, I haven't paid attention really. But things like, dead ass, what, or like things like spill the tea, she's on point. Like, this is stuff that I learned on the internet. It's not, that is what I see code switching, when you literally are changing up your vocabulary so you could change up almost like you speaking in code, whereas if it wasn't for the internet, I would not know what any of those words are, because the people I hang around with is mostly retirees and immigrants. I'm not only am I not young inside, I don't. I happen to not live in an area with a ton of young people. Like, basically any young person that graduates leaves this area as ASAP. You know. Mm, I'm glad that we're almost done with this. I wanted her hair to be a lot more floofy, but I ended up being a little bit too tight with it. I'm supposed to change out the pen. I guess so. I'm an old soul who's also weird, so it's not like I'm sitting there listening to cabana music or whatever. I made this girl into a mad scientist. My brother's far more an old soul. Oh my goodness. He's an old soul that actually can get it with the young people, but that's why he's a salesman. But then he'll call me and be like, "Why do people do this?" I'm like, "Bro, I don't get these young folks either," and he's younger than me. He's like, "Why do they do this?" I'm like, "Bro, I don't know, man." He's like, "I just want to play cards and play video games and just drink my whiskey in peace." And I'm like, I feel you. I just want to drink my very bougie coffee. Not as bougie as him, because he has like the Japanese style slow brew pour paint, and I'm like, nah, I'll stick to like my French press, okay? It's just it's a touch bit faster. I don't use the French press all that much. I usually use it for coffee that I don't like the coffee end up being not so good, and it helps to take out some of the bad bitter taste of it. And it's pretty easy. You just pour hot water into it. I didn't realize just how pretentious I am with coffee because I don't know the terms, right? Because to me, again, when people are like, "Oh, you're pretentious," I'm like, I don't even know the words for it. I was born with good taste, okay? I like stuff to taste good. If it doesn't taste good, it's fine, but then I know it doesn't. It's like my $10 bottle of extra large cheap wine. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, I don't expect it to be good. If it is good, I'm happy. Eventually the price will go up, which that did happen to a wine that I found for cheap. It was really good. I was like, it's not going to stay. It's not going to be forever. It's fine, but after that, it's like I just think it tastes good. Oh well, then you got expensive taste, and I'm like, do I really got expensive taste? Because it's not like I don't eat candy. What does that mean? Please tell me, what does that mean? I eat candy. I may not eat ice cream. I may not do cookies and cakes all that much, but you give me some good jelly beans, and I'm here. I'm here for you. Granted, though, I may end up picking, if I do eat ice cream, it'll be like, I don't know, toasted coconut or rum raisin, which is apparently it's an old people's flavor. I had no idea. Maybe because I just want a lot of rum in my rum raisin, guys. Wouldn't you want some rum in your rum raisin? What kind of coffee do you prefer? It, I'm down for trying anything, but I prefer very dark roast, and it's hard to find that. So the one that I know that you can easily compare it to is the Starbucks Sumatra, like when you go and buy their bag of coffee. So yeah, the Sumatra blend, the one with no flavors in it. Um, the second thing that I can handle that is not as good is Cafe Bustelo, just that bitter black coffee that slaps you in the face. There was the Starbucks Costa Rica that's really good. After that, if I find like small blends of things, that'd be cool. I want to get into finding like just like natural, not natural, they all natural, but like, just small batch ones that I can find. And I need to venture into my farmer's market because I know there's a lot of like actual like, home coffee brewers, not brewers, roasters, sorry, roasters. And of course there's like that good Haitian coffee, just I want to just try it out, but I like it black, I like it smooth but bold. I like it in your face. I like you to be able to smell it. I like it. I can drink caffeine. Like I just drink coffee at like an hour or two before at like 4 p.m. I'm still gonna go to sleep at like 10. I just love coffee. Um, and I'm trying to also find a good decaf because I genuinely like coffee. Like I want that taste. Like here's what it is. You get yourself a nice good black, not bitter, not in the evening, but like just that full, bold, savory coffee, right? And you drink it with just ice after you've eaten something really, really, really delicious. I'm talking like extra spicy, extra juicy. If you're into meat, just extra juicy, meaty, just good. You put that and then you put it down with a cold coffee. It just those two flavors blend, which is probably why you can find like coffee flavored seasonings to put into your meat. Or like if you get yourself a really thick like coconut type soup or something, and then you just drink yourself a nice coffee. It's good. I'm sorry. I can honestly, maybe I should like what you want to call it. You could come in, but I'm live streaming. Mom. Mm, I'll be done in a few minutes. That was my mother, you guys. She looks so cute. Like, she has like a very kind of 60s, 70s vibe. So, like, I'm not joking, guys. My mom is really pretty. I didn't inherit my looks from her, though. I got some of it, but don't tell him this, but I mostly got it from my dad. I mean, my dad's good too, but my mom is something else. Isn't that something when you're the girl and you don't inherit your mother's good looks, but your brother end up getting the good looks? Like if you saw my brother, he cute too. He's not gonna listen to this far into the stream. Sometimes I do let family know that I have this YouTube channel, but he ain't gonna go this far. So I'm also a pretty big tea drinker too. Mm, mostly green teas. Um, so green tea and jasmine, green tea chai, like the mix. Haven't done matcha as much. Done some sencha. So did some gen matcha. Uh, and usually with, and I don't drink my green tea with any sweetener. But it could have like a sweeter flavor, like a berry green tea, hibiscus green tea. But I usually don't drink it with any sweetener. It really depends on how it's brewed too. Like you can get like a nice flavor. Or then if you get like um maybe some crushed berries or like a fresh squeezed lemon or lime and you just squeeze it into your green tea after you iced it, or hot if you make it hot. It's, especially if you're not feeling that great, like you're not super sick, because I know there's a lot of things, there's a lot of culture that believe if you just drink lemon or vitamin C and you'll get over it, it'll help. But maybe you just feel like a little under the weather, then like yeah. But that's about it. And I think I'm it. That's it for me. Okay. I think I'm about done, guys. If there's not any like last minute things, let me know. Ooh, that good. Nothing last minute. Did you guys get a chance to catch up with your Inktober? Hmm. I'm also bougie with my honey too. I always get what to call it extra raw unfiltered honey. You know, the one that costs like $20 for the jar. But what you do is you don't get a whole spoon, right? You take the teaspoon, you dip it in, and then you let it drain. You let it drain, and then you put it in your tea. Usually, for some reason, those honey taste extra thick. They're just like really strong flavor, and you're just like delicious. Like it's a very powerful, strong taste. I remember that time when I bought it, and my cousins were like, "Why are you spending like?" At that time, that was years ago, so it was $13. Like, why are you spending so much on honey? And it's like you don't understand. This stuff tastes good, and they're like, "Okay." At first, they thought I was being silly with the half tea. I mean, when it costs this much, you want to not use so much of it. You know, again, it's not like I got money, okay? I'm not even making anything on this YouTube, all right? But it's like, it either tastes good or don't use it. You know, sometimes you just feel unsatisfied because you bought the cheaper thing and you're just like, what was the point? Like, you just accept it. If if it's the difference between the 50-cent cookie and the $4 cookie, but you know that $4, you're just gonna eat that 50-cent cookie, but you're just looking at that $4 cookie, You just be like, you know what? Let's take that $4 cookie. Let's enjoy it. And then let's make a budget to buy that cookie in like 6 months. uh, I mean, if you don't make it, it's okay. You learn some new things. I don't, life things are happening. Don't let your time pass you by. That's true, but don't let it get to you to the point where it brings about like an excessive amount of anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, don't. It's not worth the anxiety. I think because I've been hearing people like struggling and stuff like that, and I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, to be honest, it's not like a lot has happened in my life. I'm not gonna say it's like this, nor am I downplaying it. Okay, I don't believe in downplaying your issues, but I'm like, I don't have the energy to be stressing on something that really is not a stress. Like I survived my first real hurricane. All these years I've been in Florida, we've never actually had one hit to this extent. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I survived. And yeah, I was without power and electricity for a week, but I don't know, maybe because I was in Haiti also that I know what to do when you lose power. But as far as I'm concerned, we have running water. So I'm just like, I got running water and I filled up my tank, and I have the job that I always complain is still a decent job. The people are good. It's just kind of like, you know? And I was just grateful. My only thing is that I did get up to get me hot coffee, like maybe I would build another fire pot coffee or something. But I was just good. But man, when I saw the short temper that some people were getting, I'm like, unfortunately, we're living in a time where we got used to life in a certain manner that I don't think we really are ready for when something happens. And yeah, I didn't mean to end it on a dark note. Yeah, do it personal. Just have fun with it. Have fun with it. I know there was like a lot of controversies that was around the Inktober thing. Like, oh, is Inktober expensive? Which I think I posted an old video about it. Oh, Inktober is only for those who can't. Oh, and I'm just like, I feel you. And there's a lot of other communities that I'm with too. But it gets to a point where like not everything needs to be a controversy, but because we're on the internet, everything ends up being a controversy. And I just don't know how you got the energy. It's not like it didn't bother me, right? To me, it's just a tool, whether you do it by hand or digitally, have fun. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just, maybe because, you know what? No, it's because I'm 30. When you get to a point where you're just like, yo, life is too tired, man. I gotta go to bed to get to work at a certain time tomorrow morning. So peace. Yeah, you guys keep commenting, but I got stuff to do. Bye. While doing, and it was not the best combination of things, definitely. Yeah, don't, there's no need for you to like pressure yourself with anxiety, y'all. It's just, you do it, you can't do it. When I found that I can't do it, I just don't do it. There's a time to push yourself, and then there's just a time when you need to recover. She ended up being cool. She ended up looking like a mad scientist. And then the last final touches, guys, is her eyes. Add some glass glares. There you go. Yeah. I'm not going to make that correction. I can't make a correction. It's on her face. There you go. Okay. All right. There's like one or two of you guys left. I think it's just the two of you guys left. So either way, I'm done. I did my 4. Today is the 16th. This is number 16. So probably next Sunday, I'll catch up for the week. We'll do all 6 or 7 of them. 7 of them. And I'll see you then. And then I think the week after, I'll be flying. So I'll probably do it the Monday of. We shall see. We shall see. Anyhow, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. It got me to do stuff. I've been pretty lazy, but I drew stuff. I'm an artist. There. Anyways, yeah. So I hope you guys have a good night. I hope you guys get a good start to your week. I hope things don't get too hectic for you. Hope things don't get too stressful for you. Hope you get to do something fun. I definitely am not going to do anything fun. I just like to sleep. That's my fun. Sleep. And I'll see you guys in the next stream, okay? All right? Good night. 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 And I am being a dork. Au revoir.